Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to my very thoughtful world. As you guys know, I love to bring on positive, powerful women who are living their dreams. Listen, living our dreams is not about life is easy. It's just that we have decided that in light of everything, there are dreams and goals inside of us that we're working really hard to make come true. And I do this to encourage you, inspire you to pursue your dreams, particularly in this new year, as you guys begin to talk about vision boards and setting goals. I want to see you live your best life. So tonight, I want to welcome Carlina. Carlina, please tell everyone about you.
Hi. Well, first, I would like to say thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your platform. I'm super excited. I love your mission and what you all stand for. So, hi, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, ultimately, I am Carlina Shotwell, born and raised from Greenville, North Carolina. And I am a life skills educator for under-supported youth throughout North Carolina as well as the United States.
Awesome. Now tell people, what does that mean? Like, I kind of
Yes.
think I know, and I've read a little bit about your background.
Mhm.
But
Oh,
when you say
absolutely.
a life skill, what does that mean?
So essentially, life skills, there's 14 life skills. So there are some as far as communication skills, job readiness, financial literacy. Ultimately, all of those things is what we would consider life skills, things that our young people are needing now more than ever as they develop and grow. So my job is to come in and prepare them before they actually see what it's really like on the other side.
Wow, I know they really need this. So you said you come in. So is this a position that you hold at a school, or how do you get to these young people?
So essentially, I'm a contractor. So I do have my own business,
Awesome.
and I've been lucky enough and honestly blessed as well to be able to make contacts within the community, as well as I am a former foster youth. So a large part of my platform is foster youth.
Okay. Tell
Hmm.
people, if you don't mind, do you mind talking to that? Because I work with women and meet women
Hmm.
who are like brilliant. And because of the work I do, everything is mindset, mind shift. I understand when people kind of get stuck in their past.
Hmm.
So foster care couldn't have been easy.
Oh
What was
no.
that? Yeah, what was that like growing up for you?
Oh, of course. So I definitely don't mind talking about it at all. One of the things that I like to say is, unfortunately, foster care does have a negative outlook when in reality, foster care was created, right, to help our youth be able to get out of situations that may not have been beneficial to them. So for me, I entered foster care at the age of 9 years old with my four siblings. And as we were going throughout foster care, I actually traveled between 7 different homes
Mm.
and a few other homes in between that are known as respite homes. So in foster care, you have your primary home, and then sometimes the parents may want to go on vacation. And when they do that, a lot of times they don't want to take the foster child. Not that they don't want to, but more so because they can't. As a foster child, you are a liability to the government. So there's a lot of rules that you have to abide by as a foster parent when it comes to our young people. So essentially, you'll have your respite homes where you're just there for a weekend, maybe a few days during the summer. So ultimately, I've been exposed, if you will, to a lot of different parenting rules, regulations, cultures.
Wow.
I've seen it all, I feel like. And as
Yeah.
a young person, it can be overwhelming, especially when you're dealing with your own traumas of being taken from your parents and not understanding as a young person why that was, because it's not fully communicated with you
Yeah.
between, you and the social worker, for example. So as a young person, I was very difficult.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. 9 years old, I turned 10 4 days later after I entered foster care. And I'm entering those pre-teen age
Yeah.
where I think I know it all. You can't tell me anything. And that's how I honestly felt.
Yeah.
Now, as an adult, I'm getting it all back by being a mom.
Okay.
My teen is everything. He's me.
Wow.
So it's true when they say you get it back for
Wow.
sure. But
Yeah.
ultimately, foster care, it was not the easiest thing simply because you're being exposed to a different situation, a different upbringing compared to what you were used to for so long with your family, whether it was positive or negative, right? So that's the biggest shift I feel like our young people are going through, which makes foster care tough. But ultimately, I I would like to break down the stigma of foster care. Because when I tell people, I used to be in foster care, or when I was a child, hey, my name is Carlina, I'm a foster child, or I'm in foster care, the first thing I get is, oh, I'm sorry. And it's like, no, no. Even though I went through all of these different homes and situations, if I were with my real mother, there's no telling where I would have been.
Okay.
There's no telling, simply because she was really going through, on drugs, just not a good support system, having 5 children. Our father wasn't the best as well, in and out of prison. So there's no telling where I would have been, nor my siblings, if we stayed in that situation.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that I'm really trying to make sure that our young people in foster care are getting these life skills, so that way they can succeed and not be a statistic.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty powerful. How did you move out of that? First and foremost, I mean, I don't want to assume. Did you ever have that victim mentality, like where you thought,
Mm-mm.
good? Because I meet
I
people,
did.
yeah, they think, well, my life would be better if, and so therefore they kind of they don't move, they don't make choices because they're
Hmm.
stuck in that mindset of thinking.
Right. No, I agree with you. So as I mentioned, I do have siblings, right?
Yes.
And out of the 5 of us total, 4 girls, 1 boy, I can say me and my older sister she's 3 years older than me. So
Okay.
me and my older sister, we're definitely the ones that kind of fought through everything, like, hey, I'm survivor mentality for sure. Whereas my younger siblings, the youngest one being 4 years old when she
Mhm.
entered foster care, and
Mhm.
she'll be 30 this year. 30 in 2024, excuse me.
Okay.
But ultimately, it just shows you how long ago it was. But ultimately, with her entering at that young age of 4 years old, the what she's gone through, it took her a very long time to get out of that victim mentality. And I still feel like she has it now, even being almost 30 years old. But ultimately, I feel like having a support system around you, as well as having someone to tell you, which I tell my young people, when you become 18, 19 years old and you're embarking on this thing called life by yourself as an adult, nobody cares that
Mm.
you were in foster care, because when the light bill comes, it's going to have your name on it and they expect to get paid.
Yes.
So ultimately, I teach them to go ahead, not necessarily forget it happened, because ultimately, our past is our past and it does shape us to who we are.
Yes.
But more importantly, be able to use the past and use it as strength.
Yeah.
There's a quote that I live by that I actually created myself. I should trademark this.
Yes. At least like, and they say once you produce something, it becomes yours. So if you ever have to fight against it, you can prove that you produced it.
Oh yeah, I say it all the time. So
Yeah.
the quote I say all the time is, when you live in your truth, that's when you're the happiest.
Mm.
So as a young girl, I would make sure that I told you, before you could use it against me, that I was in foster care. I
Yeah.
would tell you first. You can't, how are you going to pick on somebody who is confident in knowing who she is?
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So for the longest, I would make sure that I lived in my truth. And even now in my 30s, I do the same thing. Do I still have my days where the trauma of being that young girl seeps back in, like seeps out? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But thankfully, I'm aware, right? That's the key word, being aware of your triggers
I
and
agree.
the trauma, and being able to work through it.
Yeah.
And it's not easy sometimes.
Yeah, listen, I know it's not easy, but it's so worth it. And I remember
Mhm.
when I started coaching, and still some of my clients now, I had one particular client that was a gentleman, and he started doing this emotional work and digging in and,
Mhm.
where in the thinking. And he contacted me between one of our sessions. He was like, I know I don't have an appointment today, but you got about 10 minutes. I was like, yeah. He's like, I've been taking naps. Like, what's going on? I'm exhausted.
I love a good nap.
He said, "Why am I so fired. I said, because you're using your mind at a level that you've never done before. It's exhausting. He was
It
like,
is.
I thought something was wrong because you.
Oh my. But you know that's true because a lot of times, because even with my partner, Brandon, he works and he does a lot of physical labor,
Yeah.
right? And my job is more mental. It's a lot. It's a very much a lot mental. And I do take my occasional naps because you got to recharge.
Yes.
And you know, and for the longest, and I still don't feel like he understands.
They don't.
But I personally feel like, you know, your body, you can work your body as furthest as you can go, as well as build that endurance.
Yeah.
Your mind controls your body,
That's right.
right? So if you're working your mind consistently, once you hit that wall, you hit that wall.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to go ahead and take a nap and
Yes.
recharge and get back up again. So I'm glad you said that. I
Oh
have to
yeah.
make sure Brandon gets this link.
Absolutely. It's a very real thing. So what made you decide, I'm going to start a business doing this versus getting a traditional job?
Hmm.
How did that
Right.
journey go for you?
So it was I've always done it, right? So since I've aged out of foster care, which was at the age of 21, of course, after I graduated high school, I did go ahead and go for it and go to college. I received 3 college degrees in that time, thanks to scholarships I was able to obtain as a foster youth.
Wow.
So free college, one of the benefits.
Yes.
But ultimately, I still came back to my hometown in Greenville, North Carolina, to the foster youth. So with the foster youth, we meet once a month with what is called a links meeting. And every county does the same thing. They may have their own different days. So I would still come back and volunteer for a long time, for years.
Mm,
And it just so happened that the lead social worker was actually my social worker as a young person, and she's still there right now.
mm.
So ultimately, I would come back consistently for free, work for free. And after a while, she actually talked to me about, we can pay you. And during that time, I was really struggling as far as finding my footing in the legal world because I went to school to become a lawyer. So ultimately, I obtained 3 degrees. I did not go to law school. I chickened out on the LSAT, but ultimately, that was the goal. So working at these different law firms, multiple ones, I could not find my footing in the corporate world. And the reason why I couldn't find my footing, unfortunately, I did not realize it was going to be an issue for me until I became an adult, was there's not a lot of people that look like me in the corporate world, in the legal worlds,
Right.
right? And you have to really fit in. And it's difficult to fit in when not only am I a woman, I'm a Black woman who has curly hair,
Yes.
who I could be a little loud sometimes.
Yeah.
I could be very vocal, right? And it was hard. It's like I couldn't fit in to save my life. I even
Mm,
got fired from one law firm, and he literally asked me, "Do you feel like you fit in?" And I said, "Yes, of course," not even believing it myself. And
wow.
he said, "Well, we don't feel like you fit in. We're letting you go." And I was 19 years old.
Wow.
And I was just like, okay. But I still kept trying. Went to another law firm, still didn't fit in. Went to another law firm, still didn't fit in. So during the time that the social worker, Shantae Carson, during
Mhm.
the time that Shantae Carson was talking to me, I mean, she'll have lunches with me throughout the year, whatever she could do to pay me back, because I was doing so much work for her for free,
Oh,
she would
wow.
do that. And she was just like, "Carlina, we can pay you." And I really had to sit back and realize, what is this going to look like? Because in my mind, I wanted to be a corporate baddie. Like I wanted to, you know what I mean? I wanted to
Yes.
have the suits, the heels, the
Yes.
dress in the I just wanted to be her.
I love it.
I did. I really, really did.
Yeah.
An inspiration of mine is Olivia Pope,
Oh, yeah.
right? Oh, honey, I wanted to be Olivia Pope. Okay. And but it wasn't happening for me,
Mm,
no matter how hard I tried. So ultimately, Shantae Carson opened the doors for me. And
mm,
she helped me by telling me we can pay you to do this work. So then just having a few more lunches with her, she was able to actually show me how to position myself as a professional.
Wow.
People knew me within the social services, right? They knew who I was from
Yeah.
being a little girl as well as just being there for the young people. But they only looked at me as that little girl.
Right.
So I had to reposition myself as the it girl.
Yeah.
You have a problem. I am the solution, right? And by having Shantae Carson really speak to me, speak through me, I was able to position myself as a life skills educator.
Wow.
Also, other resources, getting a PR team, right?
Okay.
Getting email marketing, getting a website. So having these things in place positioned me as a professional. And ultimately, that allowed me to have these doors open. It took a while. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you. Shantae Carson was my number one supporter for a long time.
Good. Good.
And she was trying her very best to get other counties to open up to me. And I was, me too, like whenever they had a county meeting, all the social workers would come together. She'd be like, hey, we're gonna be at Chili's on Saturday at 2:00. You should come by. And I mean, I would come by with my pre-made pamphlets.
I love it.
One time I even made a little portfolio of all my work. Like I
I
came.
love it.
And it still was a disconnect. It
Mhm.
still seemed to be a disconnect. But I can tell you, was it easy being told no all the time? Mm-mm.
Mhm.
And it hurt me even worse because I still felt like they looked at me as that little girl.
Mhm.
And I would have comments such as from social workers, well, I could teach Billy to go open up a savings account at the bank. I could
Mhm.
do that, you know. I
Yeah.
can teach, Kenny how to get a job, how to file the application. I could do that. And it
Mhm.
was more so of, I'm not coming to replace you. I'm
Right.
coming to add value because you have enough on your plate.
Yes.
So thankfully, as we are ending, what is this, 2023?
Yes.
I just accepted a position as a full-time social worker with social services for our young people. So like literally last week.
Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
So I'll still be able to contract with other counties and other states, right?
Yes.
But my hometown, I will be the it girl.
Yes.
And this was something I didn't plan either. It was more so of the social workers in my hometown saw how hard I was going for these young people.
That part.
And they were like, listen, we want you as a social worker. And I was like, but I didn't go to school for that.
Right.
They was like, it doesn't matter. Like you have all of the experience, whether it's personal, whether it's you just working, you
Mhm.
have it.
I
And I
love it.
just finished the process last week. And honey, when I say I'm ready to get in here and stir the pot.
I love your story. I've heard so many things. I heard you say that you had to keep showing up, and that's something I want ladies to get. Like people get one no, and they think, "Well, Kanisha, this doesn't work."
Because it
No,
hurts.
right?
It
It
hurts your
does.
feelings. It
It does.
does.
But you know
It
what?
will
Like,
hurt your
I
ego.
one of the things that really helped me when I was starting my business is I think it was I heard Steve Harvey say he says if you don't have haters, you're not doing something right.
Oh, okay.
So I would collect. I was like excited when somebody would hate on a post or whatever. I'm like, yes, it's working. Because I just changed the association. My
Mm-hmm.
son, when he was his senior year in high school, because his junior year to him was a disaster because he was such an introvert.
Oh.
He was so shy and he felt like he was missing. He's like, I'm at the parties and I'm sitting on the wall. So he and his best friend, they made a commitment to each other that they was going to make their senior year the year that they collected all the no's.
Okay.
So they was going to do and say like anything. If it was a girl they thought was fine, they was going to ask her out. And they was good with the no, like because Bryson had read somewhere that it takes so many no's before you get a yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he would say, Mama, I'm collecting my no's. So we have to learn. let's start collecting our no's because
Mm-hmm.
the yes is going to come.
Yeah, and then also people are watching you because
Yes.
in those rooms where I'm being there's 10 people and 8 of them are like no, right? They're watching me and I'm
Yeah,
still coming back.
that's
Like,
right.
hey, hi. Nice to see you again. I saw you last month. Hey, how are you? I'm coming back. So it's like they're watching. And if they see that, okay, she's not giving up,
Mhm.
right? And I like that you said that your son he's doing that as well because there's gonna be some other little girls out
Yeah,
here like, wow, like he's brave. That's a good quality in a man.
it is. It is. And he's like 21 now, graduated from about to graduate from university. And he just, he will do whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
I said, Bryce, you don't worry. He says, Mom, no. All they can say is no.
Yeah.
He's used to it. He says, I don't even feel it as rejection. It's just part of life's process.
Mm-hmm. I
And so
like that.
I really want, like, sisters, if you're watching this and you are thinking, how can I do this?
Mm-hmm.
Know that you keep showing up and the difference it makes when you keep showing up. I tell women all the time, we moved here. I'm in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I joined networking groups, chambers, all that, right? And
Mm-hmm.
people would say, well, how this? I said, because I know there's a power in just being in the room.
Exactly.
Not even, doesn't matter that originally or initially you may not close a business deal,
Right.
but they get, like you said, they get to know you, they see you,
They see you.
you
Mm-hmm.
learn about new things that you didn't know about, opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I love your story. I love that you kept showing up, and I love that,
Mm-hmm.
like, I believe scripture that talks about all things work together,
Mm-hmm.
and how you was over on this path trying to be a lawyer, just all
Trying
out
to,
of your
I was
all.
trying, I was, you don't understand. I was trying so hard.
Trying to be
And then
Olivia Pope.
I was trying. I really was. I really was. And they listen, they didn't want me. They didn't
Well,
want
no,
me.
because God is like, I made Carlina. I didn't mean for you to be Olivia.
That's true. You know what? You're right. You're right. You're right. Olivia Bando, but you're right. I could be
Yes.
Carlina.
That's
That is funny. Mm-mm. No,
yes.
I was trying too hard, apparently.
It reminds me of the story when Oprah said when she got a job on air, she was trying to be Barbara Walters.
Oh Lord.
And she said she would be in her mind thinking of, like, I'm going to sit like Barbara. I'm going to read
Mm-hmm.
like Barbara. And when she saw the teleprompter and she saw Canada, she says, and today in Canada, she wasn't.
Oh my God.
She laughed at herself on air, which, in news world historically was a big no-no. But that's
Mm-hmm.
when she started realizing, I have to be myself. I can't
Right.
be. Yeah. And I believe we serve at our highest level in our
Mm-hmm.
business. And I believe the thing maybe we even do that we love can become our business when we show up fully ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
everything that you went through in your life prepared you for this job and for this opportunity and for your business.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Because, fighting it did not serve me because I would walk into these rooms trying to be someone like you said I wasn't trying
Mhm.
to be polished, trying to talk the best grammar I possibly could, being from the country. So I tried my very best, and I mean, it wasn't good enough. And ultimately, these are things I didn't go through as a young person, right? I didn't have to go through these things as a young person in school. And we had different races and cultures in our school, but I was just one of those girls where I talked to everybody.
Yes.
Right? I didn't just gravitate to one table in the cafeteria. I went to all of them.
Yeah.
So to then get into the adult world and just be kind of placed in this one way, like, oh, either you like her or you don't.
Mhm.
And that was culture shock for me.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I now feel more like myself in my 30s than I ever did.
That's wonderful.
And it's just crazy that nobody tells you this when you're 16.
Well, the thing is, I don't think we would believe them.
I don't think so either. Not
I
my
don't
hard
think
headed self. I
exactly.
would
Yeah,
like 30. Ew.
yeah,
That's how I would have been.
yeah. Because I have been trying.
Hmm.
When I learned about emotional awareness, um,
Hmm.
how you can shift your mindset and how every experience can be either you. I always say either you're using the experience or the experience is using you.
Let me write that
Meaning,
down.
yeah, meaning you're operating from your trauma or you're operating from the heal side of the trauma.
Hmm.
You,
Hmm.
you operate from the heal side of the trauma, and you're like, oh, I'm going to use this because it's made me stronger. It's showed me that I
Hmm.
have endurance. It shows me that I'm resilient. And, I'm a Bible girl. God comfort me now that I've been through that. I know what it's like. I can comfort someone who's in it. But when we
Exactly.
don't take the time to
Hmm.
heal, shift, we out here and the 5-year-old me or the 15-year-old, I'm
Hmm.
still fighting the same fight with other people. And
Yeah.
they're like, girl, what you mad about? I ain't even say anything to you.
Exactly. No, I had to deal with that too because I'm definitely one of those people where I can be sensitive, but only to certain people.
Yes.
Like certain people, I will be immediately become like defensive because I care about you.
Yes.
So it's like that little girl, that little girl in foster care, like just wanting to be accepted, make sure I please you, make sure you're not upset with me. That little girl tends to come out for people that I truly care about.
Yeah.
And that's why I knew I needed to be with foster kids because I truly care about them. And
Yeah.
ultimately, their circumstances is their circumstance, but let's get out of it, right? Let's get to the other side and see what we could do. So I'm excited about this new journey. I'm excited I could still work with young people. So of course, if there's any opportunities in Rocky Mount, you're only 45 minutes away. I would
Yes.
love to be a part. And yeah, it's great to be able to work with young people in general. It's fun.
Yes.
I like it.
Okay.
Not everybody likes it. Let me not say that. I like it.
Yeah.
They
I,
listen to me.
yeah. I had one event where I was able to work with um middle schoolers. And I
Okay.
didn't think I would like it, but oh my God, I fell in love with those kids.
Mhm.
And so I used to think I wanted to work with high school kids years ago before
Okay.
kids have become kind of these people that you can't really always talk to.
Yeah.
Um, but that middle school age, yeah, that's my sweet spot. But I tend to hang out with the adults more than I do with the kids.
Mhm.
But let me ask you this question because this is the question that I
Okay.
always like to ask all of my guests. What
Mhm.
is the book that you would recommend or that changed everything for you? What is that book?
I have it right here. Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. Can we focus?
Oh, yes. How to
How
win.
to win friends and influence people.
Yeah.
This book has been around for a long time.
Yes.
A long, long time. Oh, it says right here, 80 years in print. 80 years. You see my little
Yes.
So for have you heard of this book?
I have actually I have the audio version of it.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So for me, I actually go through this book consistently throughout life. I've had it for a few years, but the reason why I continue to go back to it is because one thing about that I love about people, because I truly do love people, is
Mhm.
that we're all different. We're
Mm.
all so different, right? And we're consistently changing because life is designed to help us change.
Mm.
But with that change, even in relationships, intimate relationships, friendships, right? Family, in those relationships, the two people are changing as well.
Yes.
So this book for me helps me not only better understand me as I continue to evolve, but also who I'm interacting with.
Oh, nice.
Because it's not a one trick pony. Like this information in this book, you're going to have to consistently reread it and apply it in different ways.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm going to probably have to read it again going into 2024 before I embark on this new journey. as a social worker, simply because I'm going to be actually working with social workers on an intimate level. When prior to that, I was a contractor, so I was the
Yes.
boss. You know what I
Right.
mean? I was Miss Independent, and
Yes.
now I'm coming into a team,
Mm,
and I'm going to have to read this again simply because I have to be aware of my team. Who am
mm.
I embarking on this journey with? How should I communicate with them, and making sure that I communicate effectively as well? So I'm definitely going to have to reread this again for sure.
So, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for being in my what I call my very world. I appreciate you
Appreciate you.
so much. Listen, guys, if you want to get in touch with Carlina, all you have to do is go to her website. The link is right here on the post. And Carlina, is there any last words that you want to leave with everyone?
I guess just simply the quote, when you live in your truth, that's when you're the happiest. I know everyone says, becoming an entrepreneur, once you find your passion, right? It's like you're never working. It may take a long time, like it did for me before that happens. But
Yeah.
ultimately, I would say to anyone listening, seek what's the word? Seek guidance from other people around you, simply
Mm,
because we can only live in our own body, right? So we're not aware of what we're projecting and how other people feel about us. And
mm,
I can honestly say, without Shantae Carson being that advocate, being that woman to be like, hey, sis, I see this in you. I've been seeing it in you since you were young, and let me help you get it out. I would
mm.
definitely challenge anyone listening, and you want to embark on entrepreneurship, or maybe you're kind of struggling right now, seek who's around you and get some of their advice. Talk to them and have them, you know, tell you about you.
Yeah.
Tell
I
you
love
about
that.
you.
I love
And I
that.
think, right, I think that may be a easier way for you to figure out what your passion is, by having someone who knows you, who's been on the outside for a long time watching you, be
Yes.
able to tell you what that is. And I think that might help you.
Wonderful.
I
Thank
know
you
it.
so much.
Thank you all. I appreciate you all. If you do go to my website, you will see a few products that we have available for our young people, such as a life skills curriculum.
Okay.
We're in a life skills workbook. So our workbook are actually designed for our young people. It doesn't have to be a child of foster care. Even my son, who is 12, works on this workbook to go over the 14 life skills. So if you have a young person and you're like, hey, this person is definitely, she or he needs a little bit more guidance, they're not ready for the big world,
Mm.
I would definitely advise you go to my website, carlinashotwell.com, and go to our books area where you will see the link for the workbook.
Well, there you guys have it. So now you know what to do and how to get it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Have a
Absolutely.
wonderful day or night when you watch. Bye bye.